All right, so we are headed into week 13 of college football, and we got a few good games this weekend to go over. So let's go ahead and get right into those, starting out with what I think is the most important game this week. Some people might not agree, but I think it's going to be a really good game. That's Indiana at Ohio State. And who would have thought that the team going into this game undefeated would not be Ohio State? Indiana has had a pretty favorable schedule all year, but they have dominated in almost every single game that they've played. And Ohio State has also had a favorable schedule, but they have not been quite as dominant. They've struggled a lot. They lost their one major game against Oregon, and they've struggled a bit here and there, but most notably in that game against Nebraska, where Indiana, they obliterated Nebraska. So it's easy to write off Indiana because of the schedule, but I think that they are legit. I think it's hard to go that many weeks and have that consistent of a performance. And as crazy as it sounds, I am picking them to win this game. I'm picking Indiana. I've seen their offense put up a ton of points in a ton of games, and I've seen their defense be really solid at holding other opponents. And I know that Ohio State is prone to slow starts, and I think Indiana may punch them in the mouth early and shut down the crowd. I know that that's a bold assumption, obviously, but nothing I've seen from Ohio State has led me to believe that they are an elite team. And me, at least that's what I thought they were originally. But I do not think that we are looking at an elite Ohio State team. And I think that Coach Sig out of Indiana has built something that could really compete in this game. It won't be easy, and I think it's going to be a fight till the end, but I think Indiana is up to the task. I could also see a world where Ohio State ends up blowing out Indiana and proves that Indiana is not the team that we thought that they were. And if that does happen, well, then I'll just be wrong, and that's okay. But I think this game is a game to keep an eye on, and I think it could be another chapter of what has been a very, very chaotic season. So I'm picking Indiana, and we'll see if it shakes out. Next, I have Ole Miss at Florida, and Florida really seems to be firing on all cylinders here at the end of the season. DJ Highway is settling in, and the defense is really stepping up and getting pressure, and they're just playing like a really solid team here. And playing like that in the swamp, they absolutely could catch a bigger team off guard like Ole Miss, but I do think Ole Miss has been getting hot right now too, and the offensive line, they may have had struggles earlier. They seem to figure those out against Georgia. So we know that the offense has explosive capability. Jackson Dart, Trey Harris, Ulysses Bentley, etc. And we also know that they have a very strong defense. Basically, they're the full package, and I think they are a better team overall than Florida. I think they're going to win this game. They aren't facing as many injuries. I think Ole Miss may be one of the best teams in the country right now, and I don't think this is a game Florida sneaks its way into winning. Next game I have is BYU at Arizona State, and BYU was undefeated before last week when they fell to Kansas. Now they are going on the road to play another team that is playing their best ball right now, and I have a feeling that they're going to pick up another loss here. I really like what I've been seeing from the Sun Devils right now. Their ground game has been really solid. Their defense has been opportunistic, and they're just playing very, very consistently. I think home field advantage is going to be at play here. This is a bigger game than it will get credit for because it may very well decide who is in the Big 12 championship picture. And BYU has some very impressive wins against teams like SMU and Kansas State, the last of which they share with Arizona State, actually. But I do feel like Arizona State is playing better ball at this point in time. BYU does have a great defense, though. They are great at generating turnovers, and they are great at stopping their run, which could be a real problem for Arizona State. But offensively, BYU continues to struggle to move the chains, especially on third down. That means they need to rely on turnovers or third down stops on defense, and also getting Arizona State off the field to maximize their own drives. Only problem is Arizona State does not turn the ball over. They are excellent on third downs, and they are really great at dominating time of possession. All things that really work towards BYU's weaknesses. And I think that this game will be a close game into the second or third quarter, but I think towards the end, Arizona State's going to be able to pull away and wear down that BYU team and sustain long drives at the end of the game, maybe to put it away. So that's where I'm going with this game. I think Arizona State's going to win this game at home. Next, I have Colorado at Kansas, and I know most people don't really take Kansas so seriously this year. They are 4-6 with losses to some pretty mediocre teams, but most of their losses are one-possession games, and they are playing their best ball of the season right now at the end, and they're coming off of a road win against BYU, like I just mentioned, a team that was undefeated before playing them. Jalen Daniels is playing like we thought he would all season, and they're just a dangerous team at this point, and they get to play Colorado at home, which, also adds to their advantage. But we all know, or should know, what they're up against. Colorado, I've talked about all season, so you probably know exactly what I'm going to say. Travis Hunter, Shedeur Sanders, they go without explanation. They're absolute game changers, and they will definitely do great things in this game, assuming there's no injuries. But Colorado had those guys last year, and they only had 4 wins. The difference this year is their defense. They're not the best in the world. They're not great, but they are much improved and definitely improved enough, I think, to win this game. And they had a slow start at the beginning of the season, but they look to have gotten things all figured out. And I think that Deion and his squad are going to get a win in this game. And the last game I'm going to break down here is Vanderbilt at LSU. And we all know at this point that this is not the old Vanderbilt. We've seen them beat Alabama, Auburn, Kentucky, Virginia Tech. They went into overtime with Missouri. They were within 3 points of Texas. They absolutely have what it takes to win a game like this without needing some kind of miracle. And that's exactly what I expect to happen, to be honest with you. LSU has been very poor at stopping mobile quarterbacks, and Diego Pavia can definitely put some work on a team like that. I think that Vanderbilt will be able to sustain slow and methodical drives, and I think that LSU's offense will struggle. They've been pretty flat the past few weeks, and as long as Vanderbilt does not screw up with big penalties or turnovers, I really feel like Vanderbilt's odds to win this game are very high, even though they are going into LSU's home stadium, Death Valley, and, that's a really hard place to play. But I do think that Vanderbilt is going to get the win here. So that's all for my predictions, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please like, comment, subscribe if you did. And make sure you go follow me on the social. That's A_rock321 on X and Threads. And until next time, guys, peace.